Hang into this. We're not even hanging around here. Murad is out. Florentino is out.
Right off the bat, two of the most powerful characters in the latest patch. You can also see the Nacroth out. We talked about maybe the rotate from Angra into the jungle, meaning that he's going to be playing melee assassins. And GeO Esports want no part of that.
GeO is actually paying the Vexex that we mentioned earlier on, and Angra with that 1v9 at the end of his name is obviously paying homage to Vex. So now we see GeO paying the Angra tax this time.
So the Angra tax, Valheim.
Oh, not yet. Angra tax plus Valheim, exactly. Valheim, like we mentioned earlier, even though he's not great in the late game, he can snowball games early.
And since LATAM likes their aggression so much, the early game presence of a Valheim can be deciding. However, that means because the Valheim ban comes through, Richter slips through the draft. GeO lock him in right off the bat.
Right, that was the obvious pick there, the strongest hero left overall, at least among this particular meta. So once Sephra goes through, that allows them. But because of that,
familiar.
Yeah, very much. Teamy, the pick here for Pain.
Teamy historically, or at least so far in this meta, has been used to power farm a side lane marksman. Whether or not we'll see that coming out from Pain is still up in the air, but they'll be countering into one as the Telenas gets locked in alongside in the net.
This is a theme that we've seen all day. We have the dive coming from one of the side lanes or perhaps even the jungler, and then they go with the backline in the Telenas. You give her so much room when you're putting pressure on the backline from that side or from your jungle.
Angra pulling out something that we didn't predict from him. It looks like we'll see a jungle Violet coming through. Rioma in the sideline.
Not quite decided yet.
Could be the opposite.
Right, we've seen Violet a little bit in the side lane, and it could be the case here to try to outrange the Telenas with tactical fire, but I would...
But Daniel, it's bad.
You don't easily outrange
the Telenas
with tactical fire.
No.
Right, oh yeah, okay.
the big battle between Violet and Telenas is sustained damage versus burst, and that can go either way. Violet should win head-to-head so long as there aren't other mitigating factors.
Is this Superman getting locked in? He is.
Yes. In an effort to create other mitigating factors, in an effort to be able to shut back the Telenas' sustained damage, stop the Crest from being able to tank the front line, you pull out the Superman, who is the ultimate final say in repositioning technology.
Repositioning technology?
Yes.
Explain?
It's superpowers.
If you want people to
I
boo,
understand the word superpowers.
if you're looking at a team and you're like, man, I wish that whole team was about 4 meters to the left.
I wish there was some technology with which I could use to reposition them.
Do I have a product for you?
Oh!
His name's Superman.
Oh, hi.
And
is he available in all local stores?
Yes, actually.
Reproducible.
Right.
And you bring him into any lane, any team fight, you can shift everything to the left. You can disrupt any serious engage, which is really powerful into a composition that wants to hold a specific formation, like this Telenas Crash does.
Yeah, and...
But that's not all, TJ. It also comes with it, yeah. All right, so these rosters... So what we can deduce from this first is that Latin American scene and meta, not wildly different from EU, at least until we actually start fighting.
Right, and just based on that draft, even without having seen these teams as of late, I do like GeO's side because they have the tried and true composition of having that backline damage and a lot of dive from the jungle and the side lane. I like that mix that teams are putting in really gives a lot of room for the Tel so that she can output loads of damage.
I think a lot of this does rest on the Telenas. We have the potential to dive the Telenas, we have the potential to burst the Telenas, and it is all about whether or not the Crash, whether or not the Kriknak can both stop the Violet and stop the Superman.
Yeah, the thing is, I have more faith in a Richter and a Kriknak getting to the backline than perhaps a Superman just providing everything for his team. All it takes is one shutdown on the Superman, and your Telenas is safe.
I think I'm going to go against you again. I think just looking at this draft, I do side with Pain Gaming. I do think there is a lot of potential, particularly with the Teamy, to just outscale their opponents.
Well,
yeah, that Teamy and the way this meta is developing, that's a real danger, as we've already seen.
Well, you're going against history because every single time we've seen a side lane ADC, it has been victorious today.
I don't think the side lane ADCs have yet encountered the power of a Teamy Rioma, a Teamy Violet. There's so many characters that can scale up in this composition. I think this might be the answer to the meta from Pain Gaming.
I'm actually curious to see if the Teamy will be used as a way to hyper farm Violet, because he can get her through the jungle very, very quickly, have her rotate over, or is he just going to be in the lane and be that roaming presence?
The AHQ strap.
Remember, we've also got some new players here as well. They obviously haven't turned up as complete newbies or they wouldn't be here. But GeO finding out a few players that we're not so familiar with in this best of 2, which has started up. GeO against Pain.
We'll have to see if GeO's fresh blood can draw some. Our first game of the day.
Well, right as we got into the game there, lots of damage coming on to the Crush right off the bat. So he had to go ahead and back up there. And remember, he is that sideline presence. He's not going to be on the support this game. Ooh, Manga. Taking lots of damage here.
You want to keep an eye on a key matchup. Let's talk about top lane. The power of Superman and the power of Richter are actually quite similar.
Both can dash in, get that damage. I like the Richter, obviously. He is that's priority pick. And he can jungle strike in and stop Superman in his tracks. Gets lots of damage on him, chunk him down before he can get back to lane.
And they both have pretty good overall map mobility as well. We'll have to see how that plays in. Elwind does take another beating on the Crashed, but he's there to take them.
Look at this. ZRK is dominating this matchup with Manga so much that he's freezing out the wave. And what that means, for those of you who don't know, he just stands in the wave and allows his own minions to die, so it prevents the farm going. And that is huge for those larger melee minions. And he just goes down, TJ.
An excellent opening pick from ZRK. Now the punish will come through. The whole team here for him. Doesn't look like he'll get away, but that has created an opportunity for the rest of Pain Gaming who want to be able to get a pick. Elwind stunned up by the booty boots. There's the tactical fire. Metal's here with a blinding light. Oh, and they can't quite find Elwind, but that should be an Abyssal Dragon guarantee.
That was so skillful, TJ. Being able to chain those stuns together. Crush had that ability to jump away the entire time, but literally couldn't because the stuns were just picture perfect, one after another.
You were talking about the power of the side lane marksman, having already seen ZRK win that lane hard. Is your faith shaken?
Yeah, I gotta say, it's pretty shaken because if you can't win that matchup against ZRK, then you're not gonna be able to win throughout the game.
Elwind threatened. I'd like to draw attention to the fact that during this time, White actually pressed into the enemy jungle and stole away a golem.
And that is pretty powerful, but on the backside, Anthony just comes back and takes him out.
And ZRK is finding more pressure down bottom. Got caught out again, but he's still not alarmed. He's got the rest of his team here. Fryzer misses the chain lance, but it should not matter. The rest of the team is here. Angra for the damage, but they can't quite find the same poke.
Manga taking so much damage, nearly dies to Fryzer. Manga is... This is an issue, TJ. This is officially an issue. Manga cannot die, cannot take this much damage as easily. Now she has to recall. She has 0 farm.
Yeah, and the wave arrives. Here's the push. Matafreeze dives in, finds an opening pick. Smith will surely fall as well with a flicker from Metal, and the tower's going to take some damage as well. Pain Gaming of a strong start.
Pain, despite what I thought was a weakness in their draft, not having that ADC, at least in the side lane, they are turning into advantage as they are just bullying Manga out of the lane.
My faith has been rewarded.
My faith has been punished. I feel bad.
Shaken, perhaps.
I don't know. I feel more, not just shaken. It feels worse than that, TJ.
Shooketh?
Shooketh to the ground.
So, question then, how do you get onto Angra? Is it all on this Cricknack for GeO Esports?
Well, they need to just focus on allowing the Telenos to get some farm here before they can even think about getting to Angra. Manga she needs to get some gold. She's poor.
I think you start writing off your lower class Manga here. You accept this Telenos is going to be economically challenged, and you shift away. So you make the effort to get other parts of your damage farmed up instead.
No, I can't accept that, TJ. You need to, you can't just have a useless Telenos. She's immobile. But the reason why she's such a powerful hero is because she deals damage from the backline, but she's immobile. She can't provide any other utility to her team other than perhaps some slows. You need to get her farmed up, and it looks like they're trying that now.
Yeah, they do exactly that. They shift the Telenos towards the mid lane so that they can steal away a little bit of farm. Maybe that pays dividends in this fight as the Abyssal Dragons drop to half HP, but Pain Gaming want to go in. They've got the stuns, the win cup. Smith, that's been brilliant play, but it doesn't matter. He'll still go down. It's a 1-1 trade as White goes in, but the Telenos is melted, and Fryzer from Pain finds another pick.
Fryzer, no health, goes in, gets taken up. I like it though. And this is LATAM, TJ. All 10 players at the bottom of the map.
And ZRK still trapped. He'll be able to pinwheel to safety. Lycan came through to kind of sweep up the fight, but I don't think it'll be enough as the tower still falls. Elwind, you were sitting on that.
TJ, I'm looking at the mid lane, I'm looking at the top lane. There are 0 heroes from either side. I know this is exciting, but can we please get some macro?
I don't think you're in the right region. We're here for team fights, and Pain Gaming so far have delivered.
That is exactly right. At least in the team fights, Pain is putting it to GeO. GeO's falling behind, but Lycan here is on metal now.
He'll go down the Riki shot, slowly drifting after. Good response back for GeO Esports. You can see Lycan still looking very good, especially with that retaliate pop perfectly. Anoni, you've stepped into the wrong neighborhood.
I'm very confused as to why he tried to rotate back to his lane through the river. Not the best decision by him. And even though I was shaken by GeO Esports in the beginning of the game, if this is going to be a sloppy game like this from Pain Gaming, they certainly can come back.
Yeah, we've definitely seen it a few times where teams that are ostensibly winning get perhaps a little bit too comfortable. And Freeze, maybe another victim of this as being a pro was popped. He'll be back. Lycan can't burn him down in time.
This does give him a window of opportunity, though. If they want to take a fight, which we've seen they like to do, they can take a fight without the being a bro being available.
The gold lead, though, has been tied back up. GeO Esports have brought it back with those last few kills.
And there it is, the Clavis Sancti from Telenas. Now she can deal major damage, and TJ, she can critical magic hits.
DRK brought down. Should be the main victim against this now newly farmed Telenas, but you can see just because of the early game, that Tel is playing so far back.
Look at these builds here from the side of Pain Gaming. They have three rank breakers. So they're definitely going all in on killing the squishies, and that includes Crickneck.
Yeah, the Superman focusing on damage, same with the Ryoma, same with the Violet. Anyone who steps a little bit too far forward against that chain of damage will just be shattered.
And that is something that GeO Esports needs to be aware of when they take these fights. They can get completely demolished in the wrong situation as we take a look at those items. Ring of the Fiend coming here for Elwin, which means they can go zoom across the map, TJ.
The main thing I want to keep an eye on, though, is the Crashed, because the Crashed is the logical answer to all of this. With the Goodman Morphosis, they can completely deny everything. And Freeze dives in a bit ambitiously on Smith, and will get a siege minion up to tower.
So, with the Crash going for the support item, actually... Oh, never mind, Smith.
Hurricane Wall.
What a beautiful Hurricane Wall.
This is actually very dicey as Elwin comes through. Metal needs to get back behind the tower, and Lycan can chase him all the way back. DRK with the pinwheel. Can't quite connect.
No
Lycan gets to safety.
0 deaths to the side of GeO. How were they able to pull that off?
Anoni will try and find some revenge, but he's immediately burned down by White as well. GeO Esports have fought this game back. It's 8-7, their kill lead, and their Dark Slayer take.
Okay, TJ, let's reset for a moment here.
No!
Kresh is the support in this game. The Annette is building mostly damage, going for the Over the Magi into the Bear's Agony. She's going to be doing loads of damage here, so look for her to be basically their mage in this game.
Your Telenas doesn't succeed. So then you power farm the Telenas, giving them mid-power as well, and now all of a sudden it's working again.
Yeah, it's starting to give them that magic damage that they need. Obviously, she can critical hit with magic damage, and along with that, they're providing what they need here. Barely able to take the Abyssal Dragon as well.
I'll press out that bot lane as well. The Superman up top from Anoni might be able to find a response. This split push has been good enough. It forces a full recall from GeO.
You know what? I don't think that GeO are handling this buff very well because they're allowing all the lanes to get pushed. Did they really need the gold from that Abyssal Dragon?
I don't think so, because you can see so much of the gold lead that they built was undone just by the towers falling during that time.
Right, and now all the lanes are pushing in on them. This is a situation where they should be building their lead, not falling behind in the specific lanes here.
White be hovering nearby again, looking for ZRK, and he's got them pushed back. Pain Gaming group in mid. Tower will be safe.
Pain are down in gold and down a Dark Blessing, or a Dark Slayer buff, and they're the ones pushing in. This is bizarre.
LATAM games are great.
Yeah, fantastic. I love it.
GeO summoned Drake in the bush just for a little bit of extra stealth, a few more seconds. The wave can catch up. It's been buffed for the duration of the Drake, which should mean a tower rewards from it.
They should be able to get this mid-ground tower.
Here's the minion wave up on. Angara to play defense does get a lot of clear. The wave's actually gone already, but they can't take down the Drake in time.
Well, they're able to... Drake still has half health left. Maybe they can start pushing on this, but no, they back off. and start looking.
Oh, ZRK! He flies around on the flank near the Abyssal Dragon Pen, finds another free pick. ZRK, you're insane, but now he'll probably pay for that.
Great play to pick up the Crickneck, but a little bit over-aggressive, staying in the lane, allowing GeO to rotate over.
Mid lane tower will just fall. That's the power of Violet. Angara gets it for free. That means ZRK's trade is positive.
That allows them to get that, obviously, and just, I feel like both these teams are being very reactive. Pain, though, or excuse me, Metal. Hits the wind cuffs, but doesn't go down.
No, Metal has been able to stay ahead of the traps being launched here by Smith many times.
Well, a little bit of a breather for us as, again, both teams with the Ring of the Fiend, allowing them to get extremely quickly, and there is Inet continuing on this damage build. I'm not really sure what this next item's going to be, but it could be one of multiple things, perhaps even Hecate's item.
This is just full damage Inet. This is major Inet.
Absolutely.
And I'm kind of in. I appreciate it.
Not quite farmed, though. It seems like a second support, kind of like a Sephira, except if I'm gonna build a net with so much damage, I really want to see more farm onto her. She has barely more than the support on her team.
Might be in trouble. Good stuns. Angara just melts him. There's the power of those rank breakers.
Yeah, exactly. And that is what they're gonna be relying on. Fryzer
will get stunned up. Being a pro was active as the Metamorphosis claims his life. He'll be back, but the Resurrect is down.
Well, Elwin doesn't really get much value out of it if that's the case, but jumps on the Angra. Not much damage, because again, he is that support.
He needs to be the carry for the team when the damage pours their way. Pain Gaming don't want to take the fight, though, because the split push is going so well.
The split push shouldn't be this effective, TJ. I think that these teams need to be more focused on the macro, instead going for these fights constantly.
ZRK shouldn't be so effective, but he is.
He absolutely is, and that means if they try to rotate one person over like a Crickneck, then he just kills him. That means they have to rotate multiple members. That is definitely something that Pain Gaming can take advantage of because they can force the gravity of the map towards them.
Top lane is the focus now from Pain Gaming. They bring their whole wave to bear. They've got all their players as well. Angara will shatter this tower. It's a trade, so long as ZRK can't steal it, but he's too late. He might be able to still get a kill. Does not manage it. In the meantime, though, this tower will be threatened. The high ground to potentially fall. Lycan with the stall. Manafreeze will get the Resurrect off, but Lycan's doing so much damage. Angara's down. Manafreeze needs to back off, and I spoke too soon. Angara actually tactical fires through the whole team, manages to survive for so long. Pain Gaming have bought themselves a reprieve. Only 2 players remain on the map, though.
Yeah, that was, at the end, though, still a disaster for Pain. They do not get the Abyssal. GeO rotate back over to their base, and now they're pushing in with that Abyssal buff.
There is no way this tower lives. The high ground, though, must be defended. ZRK back in 2. Manafreeze and 10.
Only 2 there right now, though. Only Anony and Metal to hold on. I don't think it's gonna stay up here.
ZRK is here. The high ground does stand, but for how long? As White cleans up the fight, he'll be dropped very low. The tower does not claim his life thanks to the Dark Blessing, and the high ground itself will go down instead.
Tell Anas Menge, even though he can outrange the tower, so aggro, even just standing below it, does not care. And he will bring down the first high ground tower of the game. Speaking of which, TJ, look at the high ground tower of GeO. It is literally empty. It has no health.
There's no HP left.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, I was going to say, because Angara could just walk up and click on it, it doesn't matter, but Lycan's doing some preventative research.
Right. If you kill the Violet, you cannot kill your towers. I guess that is how it works.
That's actually how antibiotics work, too.
All right.
Darkslayer picked up. They've got the Drake as well. This should be GeO's game to lose at this point.
This is their second Drake of the game, though, and remember, they didn't do much with the first one.
Look at this wave, though. It's absolutely massive. It's an army. Pain Gaming need to hold the high ground, really. Here it is to arrive.
Remember, these minions are buffed by the Drake.
Manafreeze in for the front lines. That Metamorphosis, that's a beefy crash. He'll go in. Being a pro is active. They'll be right back. Tower already at about a third, now half HP. There's no way to hold it, surely. Though the wave has been cleared, the second high ground is gone.
Exactly, that Drake allows you to kill the towers even without wave. Lycan in trouble, can he get away? He does 1v3.
All of GeO want to get back on the tower, though. They've got wave again in bottom, and if they can make the connection, Pain Gaming have almost for sure lost this game. Elwin doesn't have the Metamorphosis, but he gets a lot of tower damage during that time.
Minga, shoot the tower, please! Minga is targeting heroes here. I think he should be focusing on the tower instead. That is his job.
Super Minions in 2 waves, Drake in 1, but GeO do not press fourth. They instead back off. They want all 3 towers before they go for the core.
Exactly. That allows them to basically have checkmate on their opponents. They have 5 Super Minions going down if that's the case, but they are just not coordinated, TJ. They need to have all members on this bottom lane, or at least most of them, to put the pressure on. Obviously, Pain knows that might be coming, but Tell can outrange the tower, and I think that's something they should be trying to do, but perhaps this is what they're trying to do here, TJ. Elwind now has Metamorphosis up. Perhaps they can push onto it.
But we've already hit max level. We're about to hit max gold. The longer GeO let this go, the less of an advantage they have.
Exactly. They will only have the tower advantage if this game continues to go on, because both sides will be 6-stack. That means we'll have all tier 3 items in all slots. But here it comes. Will we see the Metamorphosis?
There it is. The arcade tack low. Fryzer in the front lines. Metal does get wide in the back. Fryzer stalls up the fight up front. Does have the Resurrect as well. He'll be back in for the stuns. Anoni does fall, but ZRK is brought to bear. He's melted. GeO Esports do have the players. They don't have the wave, but Mengi's here chipping away.
They could potentially go for the core here, but they're going to go for the tower instead.
Pain Gaming, perhaps encountering some technical issues. That tower shouldn't fall because they don't have wave for another few seconds.
I think Pain is feeling some psychological issues as well.
Some psychological technical issues?
Yeah, one of those two. Feeling some pain all around is Pain Gaming. They want to be dishing it, they're receiving it instead.
Well, we're back in. Metal needs to hold against wave.
If they take this tower down, it is essentially over.
Here it comes. Elwind and GeO looking for that third high ground. It is gone. That could be game. That should be game. As the wave now comes through, it's only 4 players to defend for Pain Gaming. They got angry. Here, the main source of the damage, and it will be wave clear again.
Not many heroes up, but it's not terrible to wait for the triple super minion up the middle in order to finish off the game. Those are, as I like to call it, TJ, the super duper uber minions.
Nice.
They have large shoulders. They have very large shoulders, TJ.
Yeah, pauldrons. Because of them, it's very difficult to defend once you've lost all 3 towers because of those extra minions in mid. So Pain Gaming have almost for sure, maybe definitely lost the game. But the gold lead's gone. It's 6 stacks across the board.
Right. The problem is they have a continuous buff the entire time. It's not that these are just pressure. They can actually kill heroes, CJ, if they're not careful.
They do a lot of damage. Look at how much they're taking as well.
The entire team has to combine to take them out. And look at this, TJ. GeO, they have 9 seconds onto this Abyssal Dragon. Once they take that, this is all but over.
Well, I don't know if I love it. GeO are playing this so patient and so slowly. They're making sure there is no room for error, and that actually led them to be a little bit too close to error for my liking, but I think it will mean that they've taken the safest possible route.
Well, looks like they're about ready to end the game right now. Final thoughts on the build is, let me look at the Menga with that Bow a Slaughter and Death Scythe that is allowing her to stay in these fights. It is a standard build these days. We've seen it in the other games as well. Once you have that invulnerability, you can heal right back up.
Darks with the Abyssal Dragon buff, in hand. Pain Gaming kind of get one scene fight, one chance to save the game, and they've got to take it relatively aggressively. They can't be fighting the minions underneath core. Fryzer's got the clear.
Right, they can kill the core in an instant if they are not careful, but they are able to clear those super minions up mid.
Yeah, GeO, again, not pushing in, not taking the fight nearly as aggressively as I'd like.
Where is the aggression that we love, LATAM? Oh,
White! Angara, hello!
Oh, the damage is coming through. This is the risk. TJ, when you play it safe, that is a risk. Okay.
You have the Abyssal buff. Why are you backing up?
They're looking at the Dark Slayer. The thing is, TJ, it feels like a risk to jump in there, but it's even more of a risk to play it safe. You saw it right there. The Krignak was so low. It would have been so nice to utilize that Dark Blessing and go into a team fight. Just jump in there. Just embrace your aggro selves, GeO. Go in there and finish off the game.
And every second that GeO have let this game go on, Pain Gaming have closed the distance. There is now no gold lead. There is now no level lead. It's all down to the fights.
But the thing is here, TJ, Pain's chance. Look at their builds. 3 Blades of Eternity, and they had the Resurrect. from Teamy. If they can just outlast them, they can take this, but they're letting GeO take the Dark Slayer.
No, they're not. Here comes the push. And Anthony might be too far forward. He's annihilated. Metamorphosis will be spent. CRK needs to get out, and I don't think he will. Oh, in mid, maybe I speak too soon. White for the punish. Freezer is right into the midst of the fight with the Resurrect.
No.
Metal's picked up as well. Freezer's back, but Pain Gaming might not have enough. It's Angra in. He's shut down as well. He's got the Resurrect, but it will not keep him alive as GeO, I think, have cleared up the game.
Discombobulated Pain. They used their Resurrects in the wrong fashion, and this looks like it's finally over.
2 players to defend a final stand, and Oni does get a lot of wave clear before he goes down, but he will. And that means it's game number 1 over to GeO Esports.
Took longer than we perhaps would have thought, but GeO finally finishes off the game. They were down so far, I had lost faith, but perhaps maybe I shouldn't have.
That was some EU AOV.
I don't know what you mean.
That was as long as possible for the team that should have won to close the game.
No, I know what EU AOV historically was, but I'm not sure that's what we've seen from this season.
I think LATAM combines the best of NA and EU together.
Oh.
It's a really wholesome way of looking at a team not closing a game that they should have won for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, LATAM.
They were not in the winning seat for the whole of those 20 minutes. There
Right.
was
Not
times
just
when Pain had the
50.
majority of the map in their hands, even though numerically they shouldn't have done.
Right, the issue is being over-aggressive, yet not being aggressive enough at the end
Yeah.
when finishing the fights is kind of the worst of both worlds. I'm sorry, LATAM.
Yeah, we know the Latin American region is aggressive. We talked before the match about how that aggression sometimes means they'll take fights that maybe they shouldn't do, whereas maybe that aggression should actually be more on the macro side of things. We definitely saw that exemplified in parts of that game. We saw bits there where there were fights like Teleana shooting at heroes instead of taking down a tower.
Yeah.
And we've seen that outranging a tower works.
Exactly. There were so many times where she could have taken down a tower and decided not to. So many times where they could have popped the Metamorphosis and gone for the tower. There was a solid 30 seconds where literally no one was in the mid or top lane, and that hurts my macro insights.
And ZRK got so much ground for Pain Gaming literally by being the only player on the map caring about macro.
Exactly. He would just split push, and to his credit, he's very good at micro, so if only one hero rotated over, he would just kill them, which made it difficult for GeO, but yeah, you need to see more of that.
Let's talk about these team fights though, because they are always going to be the emphasis of LATAM. Pain Gaming, it felt like, maybe had the cleaner coordination until the very end.
Yeah, and you see the Richter and Superman rotating over, trying to help their teams. In the end, Lycan can pick them up, but this is exactly the clip I was referring to, TJ. Those minions pushing against each other in the mid and top.
Yeah.
I liked the positioning where everybody was in.
Yeah, everybody
was in the bottom of the Dragon lane. If you're new to Arena of Valor, if you've picked it up recently and you're watching this in order to learn something about it, ignore the positioning in this game because it's not going to teach you how to play.
Right, the micro is great. They take very nice team fights.
My
especially this. This was amazing.
Spot that. Yeah, Smith goes in with that Hurricane Wall, blocking off Mana Freeze on the team. His
This
escape.
is the Richter escape right here, isn't it?
Somehow gets away from this.
That just jungle strike? Yeah, the retaliation gives him the iframes, the invulnerability while the punish is coming through, and then he's just able to leap over the wall.
This is the game. This is when everything flipped, because GeO took the Abyssal, and in exchange, Pain thought they were getting a high ground, but not only did they not, they got basically wiped here.
But I mean, that was at 12 minutes, and there was still another 7 before they got this thing over with.
Yeah,
Watch Pain Gaming, though, from this team fight on, you see a kind of repeated trend, and that's the play around Angra. Angra is your damage, and Angra never had anyone with him while he was taking a fight, and he wasn't taking a fight while the rest of his team was.
Right, it goes both ways. Angra should have been with his team should have been with him in this case. Didn't work out in the end, unfortunately.
We saw Angra overextending last season. And maybe being a bit over-aggressive. This was a weird game for aggression, wasn't it? Because near the end of that, it was like, get it done.
Well, the thing is, the thing was with Violet, one of the strengths about Violet is you can be aggressive without even getting near the opposing team. You can just hit them from so far away, so it should be a very easy task for her once she gets farmed.
This was maybe kind of a leftover from Angra swapping in from that side lane assassin's role. We were a bit questioning
yeah.
them on the ranged characters, and it definitely looked like they weren't quite comfortable. Some bad positioning, flat out bad, wrong positioning during team fights.
And the thing is, if they're going to go with Angra in the jungle role, they should just put him into a situation where he's comfortable and have him play those melee heroes. We've seen it time and time again. Every single game today, the side lane marksman who wins has won the game.
I know we're not picking MVP based on game MVP, but I am looking at these figures and going 3.4, 3.9. Mental and Anani. Anani, 1 kill, no assists, 3 deaths. It's not super.
Yeah, definitely a man. And that's not great, because Superman should have relatively high participation because he has so much mobility. I talked it up during the pregame. I said I was relying on the Superman to get in and disrupt the formation from GeO, and we never really saw that.
Yeah, he wasn't able to push